everyone. Today is a very cool Monday. I'm excited for this. I set this up a couple weeks ago or so, I believe. GoldKey finally on the show. He was here for open mic, but I haven't got to actually stream or just me and him and talk about some stuff before. So very excited for that. Super knowledgeable. One of my favorite builders in the community. Him, Dip Catcher, Alex from Hejon. Those three, the trifecta, because we like 3s, 6s, and 9s in the community, right? So doing some awesome stuff. So super excited to talk to him. Coincidentally, I went to the pool just about 2 hours ago. I did not plan it at all. I was just like, just sometimes I go to the pool on Mondays, and I happen to have this stream about pool parties. So it's going to be a good one. Like it's the I don't know what you call it, the karma, I don't know. Everything's just, the universe is lining up. It's going great today. Say hi to the chat before I bring this gentleman in. Nazim Z15, good to see you. Good to see you, man. Appreciate you coming. Compassion, good to see you as well, man. Hopefully, let me know if you're coming this weekend. Let's tell GoldKey about our meetups and stuff. And the shirt I'll show you in a moment I'm debuting on this show, actually, that I'll be giving out at the meetup as well, that no one else has seen except me. So fun. DJ and Dougie, good to see you, man. Glad to saw you the other day. Appreciate you coming. Perpetual money printers. I like that. PMP. That's nice. I like that. So you want to know the mystery box allocation? We're going to talk about that. I'll flip back to that one. Didn't even read your question. I just loved your name so much. I had to shout it out. Red Squirrel, I know what you're here for. You're here for the algos, and I appreciate it. But UFO, you're here for the stream and the algos because you're in the other place that has that accent. So it's actually a good time for you, I'm pretty sure. If you want B3, yeah, I don't know if I have that power, but indirectly, I guess I'm helping pump the community, so I'll take it. The Donner Swans, good to see you, man. Always, every time I see House of Donners entered the chat, it gets me pumped up a little bit more. Jim Rat coming. I don't know, Jimmy, he might show up. You never know. He shows up every once in a while. Appreciate it, Hamid. Mexican wrestler. Cool. Oh yeah. You had I remember that face. I think I said, did I say something the other day that was a reference? Reminds me of something. I forget what it was. But anyways, welcome. Alien Hexkin, good to see you. Sarah G, today's the first day of spring. Is that March 20th? Okay, I'll take your word for it. That sounds about right. March 20th, March 21st. Sounds about right. Sounds good. Crypto Honesty. Let's buy some HEX. Oh, talking about crispy. I need to read these comments before I read them out loud. You guys are funny. Okay, anyways. Without further ado, we're going to put on UFO for a minute. Actually, let me show you the shirt. Because I already showed GoldKey back to work. So I'm not trying to be a thousandaire. Boom, right? I thought it was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I came up with it. So those will be exclusive to our local meetup group, unless I see you at another meetup and I happen to have them with me or something. Or if they go viral, maybe I'll just bring them to Miami or something. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, more aliens. Yes, bring them all. Bring them all to the chat. Share the link. Smash the buttons if you like. We're getting into it. GoldKey, welcome to the show.
How's it going?
Man, I was commenting, you have one of the rarer Max shirts. You have the untitled, unlabeled Richard, we believe Richard shirt. So I always like seeing that one.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Got this in Vegas.
I know. It was a great, I basically staked out at your booth and you guys were running around and then you came back and then everyone's like, are you the Maximus guy? And literally some people they didn't even say like, like, are you Dip Catcher or GoldKey? They were just like, let me ask you this Maximus question. I'm like, real quick, I'm not those guys, but I know something, so I'll try to. But if I can't answer it, I don't want to like. It's not because I'm a founder. I could answer it if I was one of those. So great time in
awesome.
Vegas.
That was a great time. Yeah, we collabed on a booth and it worked out really well because, PulseCon, the booth style, like the one thing I'm probably most bummed about that is that they sent us like these designs for what our booth was going to look like. And I designed the coolest booth, like the best graphics. And then, obviously whatever happened. And we ended up with just like a single, which everyone else got the memo that they should bring their own. But it worked out because you brought the awesome shirts and everyone loved them. So huge shout out to you for putting in work for the community. And I love the new shirt you just designed. That's really cool.
Yeah, there'll be. I think I may do a Scivive shirt for Miami. By the way, Miami, are you guys planning to come?
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
But yeah, I
That'd be
haven't
great to
brought my
have a
games yet.
Maximus booth there, even,
Yeah,
or not, just come either way.
yeah. I would definitely love to come. What's funny is me and Dibcatcher, our first like event when we had our first startup, we actually flew to Miami for a startup conference, and I was like, we kicked it off, and like it was a good time. So maybe we'll have to do a reunion and make it happen.
I
But
feel like I
yeah,
heard that story, or someone else was like, either maybe I heard it from Dipcatcher, or
yeah,
I heard that somewhere. Somebody was like, I flew to Miami, had a great time last time. It's like the
yeah,
feeling. It's just like a rolling ball. Like, okay, everyone, let's just go to Miami. It's got to be a good
yeah,
time, right?
yeah. I mean, we got to get Richard Hart. I've always wanted to. When I haven't met Richard Hart yet, but I've always like dreamed of meeting him in Florida, just in
In
his
Florida man
element.
territory.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, but we'll see.
Well, didn't he, when he came to America, was he not in Miami for the
He
Fresh and
he
Fit
was in
setup?
Miami, yeah.
Okay.
He
Okay.
was hitting the clubs and all that. I'm jealous of everyone who was there.
Man,
It's like
I
a good time.
know it's wow. That happened last year. A lot of stuff happened last year.
Yeah,
I mean, what, 8, 7, 6, 7, 8 of the 9, 10 tickers were created for Maximus
yeah.
last year, I'm guessing. Wow.
It was a big year last year for sure.
So many
Yeah.
things kicked off. Hedron was new,
Mhm.
Maximus. That's what everyone asked me. Like, what are you looking forward to? Like, what are your favorite things you're excited about? And I'm like, the stuff that hasn't came out yet,
Mhm.
because all kinds of amazing stuff came out only in the last year or so. I mean, what's going to come out in the next year? Like, what are
Yeah.
you guys going to make? What is Alex going to do? What are the other creators going to make? So that's what I'm
Yeah.
most excited about. Like, what's new? Like, it's not that I have the shiny object syndrome. It's just like, I know how much potential there is for new cool
Mhm.
stuff, and I know there's people out there trying to make it happen. So that's what gets me pumped up.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, there's so much happening with PulseChain in its own right, but like I don't think anyone expected the like real HEX ecosystem to explode like it has in the past year. And I feel like probably PulseChain, the idea of PulseChain, opened the gate for people, like, because before PulseChain, the idea of like building on or around HEX was just kind of a no-no. Like the OG, everyone was very against that, I would say. And once Richard Hart introduced PulseChain, it was like, okay, well, obviously people are going to be building new stuff. Why not, open the gate for HEX as well? So obviously, huge shout out to Alex for taking that first leap with Hedron, and obviously had to fight through a lot of, pushback there. But since then, I think people are a lot more open, and I think it's a really good thing because it really opens the door for HEX to become something bigger than any of us thought it could be. So I think it's bullish, and yeah, it's awesome.
I've been clipping all kinds of vintage and notable RH clips over the past few years, and
Yeah.
I've came across so many, and there are a few scheduled to come out sometime this year or next. YouTube literally cut me off this morning. They're like, you can't do more than 2 years out. I'm like,
Really?
but I got more content. Yeah, but I heard what's his name, Mr. Beast. He was like, he has visual. I was on some interview, maybe the Lex Friedman one, which is really good. He was talking about he has video scheduled to come out 5 or 10 years from now. But
Really?
I imagine if you're Mr. Beast, you probably got some like
Yeah.
handlers at YouTube. They're like, yeah, whatever you
You can
want.
do what you
sure.
want. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever feature you need a new feature, we're going to talk to the PMs
Yeah.
right now. We're going to get it done. Don't worry.
He kills
but
it.
yeah, man, he is incredible. But I got to stop. I watched one of his videos, and now he's up on my feed. I just want to watch one of the videos just because I was like, I have to watch the most famous YouTuber. And I was not disappointed. That was insane.
Yeah.
Video.
I mean, he's just done a really good job of taking all the money that he's making and just roll it into the next thing. And he's also obviously perfected the algorithm and how to design. So yeah, he's definitely an inspiration. But yeah, dude, you've been crushing it. Huge shout out to you, man. You've been on your hustle with this channel, and I feel like it's grown. Like, but it's not like, it's not an overnight success story. You've been really putting in a lot of work and growing this every day. I feel like it's been awesome to watch.
I have, yeah. I've started using the phrase "I'm in love with compound interest."
Yeah.
I see something and I'm just like, like the vintage stuff. That was one of the projects when I took a vacation, which is the vacation from streaming. I made the Maxwell Smash Up video during my vacation. I made a bunch of the shorts that Furu's been sharing out, and that I've been also scheduling on my channel. I started, my idea was just 55 weeks of notable or vintage RH clips, just 55. And then it went to, let's do 2 years. And now I'm like, I literally clipped 10 more today. Like,
wow.
When does it stop? I got to stop doing this.
Dude, that
So
no, don't stop, man. I mean, once you find that flow with something and it's productive and it's bringing a lot of value to the community, like keep going, man, because it's hard. It's like, you know, the hard thing is when when you don't find the flow, and then it's like every day you're forced to do something. But once you've got it figured out, like you got to take advantage, because there are times when you definitely feel more productive than others too. And it sounds like what you've done is built up a backlog of video content, which is huge. So you're like way ahead of the game. It's
yeah,
awesome.
that's the compound interest part, is just adding up. So whether it's the over 2 years of RH content every Thursday for the next 2 years, plus for the next few months, every Sunday and Tuesday as well.
Yeah.
Or it's just, you know, after streams, I make myself do it. I'm like, after the stream, do it. Because if you start a backlog, you start like letting it build up, it'll just overrun you. You just won't, no, I don't want to do 30 ones. But if you just do it right after the stream and then you schedule them, and then the next morning I do thumbnails, usually I have like this frictionless process to make it as easy as possible to build up this. Just, hey, if I ever actually wanted to take a vacation, I have stuff coming out every day. I wouldn't be live streaming, obviously, but I'd still have content. So
that's awesome, man. Great work on that.
I appreciate it.
What's your goals for your channel? Like, what do you base your goals around, like numbers wise, or what would you say your goals are at?
I definitely found myself looking at the subs. I'm just being honest. In the morning, I look at the sub count and I'm like, oh, it went up like 10 again today, 10, 10, 10. I'm like, okay, that's a nice steady number. That's nice. So that part is, I don't know. I don't know if there's a count that I would get to where I would just not care as much anymore.
Yeah.
But I say that to say that I do it. I don't do clickbait.
Yeah.
I don't do these like drama, like, these crazy titles must come, hex going to zero. I call it, unless it's literally a serious conversation around it, which if I was with someone to have that conversation, I would totally do it. But like usually those are just quick videos. So value. I don't want anyone to ever watch my videos and come away and be like, that's not, I didn't get anything out of that. Every video you watch, I want to be like, okay, at least the title was correct. You may not like the video, but at least the title like led me, like I knew what I was getting into. That's what I'm saying. So building the channel to provide value without monetizing. It's one thing. Again, unique brand. I don't monetize. I don't think anyone else is scheduling RH videos for 2 years. I try to like keep producing unique, like I love the Naval quote, like nobody can compete with you at being you. So if I'm just like me, if I'm true to myself, I want to provide value. I don't want your money. I want to make my own money. So I want to be the self-made man. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I got all the sponsorships and I make all the money and now let's get everyone wrecked. Like even if it was like good stuff, I don't know.
Totally.
There's other people do it. They can do it. I don't want to do it. So I think it's just like having that solid brand and people like trust, like that trust factor too, of like when you watch a stream, like somebody tuning in now, they got 32 people. Everyone tuning in now, I would hope they think that this stream is going to be, they're either going to learn something or they're going to, have a good time, like getting immersed into the ethos, the community. They're going to get some knowledge maybe they haven't heard before, or at least it's going to help them make not financial decisions, but it's going to help them how they feel about certain things, how they think about certain things. And they're going to be able to trust the words coming out of our mouth. Like it's very important. Like I try to I feel like I'm even more than a creator, I'm a curator. Like I want to like help people get the best type of content and get access to people that is not just some like, hey, what do you want to talk about? Oh, I don't know what you want to talk about. Let's just like have a beer for 3 hours and waste everyone's time. Like I don't know. I'm just not saying that's every stream that doesn't focus like this, but I really like having that kind of branding to the channel. So as far as like growing it, I think again I pigeonhole myself with this name, RH Maximus. I only want to focus on this stuff. I did it on purpose. I don't want to be distracted by shiny objects in other places. I want to find out what's the best in this ecosystem, and I don't want to monetize. And I know I'm going to grow slower. I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, why aren't you doing this?" And that's just me. That's my brand. And as far as growth goes, I think if you provide value, the subs will come, the likes will come, the nice kind words will come, along with a lot of other dumb comments will come. But I think to have that and help the community. The reason I started the channel was I've been following Richard for 6 years now. I've been passive. I only created Twitter a year ago, created YouTube just a month or two after that. And I don't feel like I've gave back enough. I feel like I've taken a lot from the community and from Richard. but I don't feel like I've given back enough. So I guess the goal for the channel would be to give back more. And all the ways I described.
That's amazing, man. And I'll be the first to say you do bring a lot of value. And especially kind of through this phase of like Richard Hart not live streaming like he used to. I feel like you are kind of carrying that, and because he does have so much value that he has created over the years, and you being able to create videos that are easy to just watch and take something from, along with everything else you're providing in the live streams. But yeah, I'm so much in line with that value piece. That was actually my New Year's resolution for this year, is like, I want to bring as much value as I possibly can this year. And whether that's like new tools that I find or that I'm building, or just like, teaching people. Like I started to do those Twitter threads teaching people about like around Pulse and PulseX.
I saw the PulseX one.
Yeah.
That's what I want to talk to you later today too, because it was excellent content.
So stuff like that, I feel like, that's one thing that like is very unique about the HEX community, is that it's just this information share. And that with PulseChain, I feel like a lot of people are striving to bring that value. And it's not like there are people that do clickbait and all of that, but overall, I feel like just around Pulse, like trying to understand PulseChain, maybe it's out of boredom for a lot of people, but everyone's trying to like find something new about PulseChain and share some new perspective. And I feel like it's just elevated our community like crazy. Like we're on this level of people trying to learn the most they can. Like so many people are trying to learn how to become a validator right now, which I think is pretty awesome, but I don't think everyone needs to do it. I definitely think HEX, when it comes to options, like should you become a PulseChain validator or stake HEX? I think staking HEX is a lot better for most people, but it's still awesome that our community is just like so invested in Richard Hart and PulseChain that they're willing to like spend the time to learn and talk about it. So I think that's really cool. But
just one more thing on value too. I think that it's so easy to try to, or be tempted to, maybe we naturally tend to want to cheat, right? We want to be like, I'm providing value because, I'm coming up with really good headlines. It gets people to watch the video, and indirectly that'll help the brand because I'll grow. And then it's like this whole like mental game you play with yourself. Like, no, if I just cheat a little bit, it's better because later on it'll correlate to something else. It's like, I'll buy this coin and then I'll get rich in it and then I'll buy HEX with it. It's like, what usually happens, it's not that. It's usually you buy the coin and now you're in that community, or now you're pumping that bag, or, now you're, HEX is old now, that kind of thing. Yeah. So I think it's a lot of people with good intentions that confuse value with, their own little, like tricking themselves into like, I love how Maximus says it, like, don't lie to yourself. Like, don't lie to yourself about what you're doing. Be honest about it. You do whatever you want, but like, be honest about what you actually think is going to happen, and not what you hope is going to happen, but what is most likely to happen from your actions.
Love that. Yeah.
Just say hi to the chat real quick before we get into some more valuetainment. Shout out to Valuetainment for interviewing Richard. That was a fantastic one.
That's awesome.
Also think in Miami, I believe. UFO to go. One of my people who show up at almost everyone. I didn't see what's his name? J Man. Now I'm messing his name up. I'm sorry, J Man. That's not your fucking name. I can't remember his name, but he's been showing up to like every stream the last week or so. So I didn't see him yet, but I see UFO, and UFO comes to a lot of them too. And I appreciate all your kind words. He comes up with phrases like, if you want the facts, watch RHMax. He'll like come up with stuff like that. Man, that's awesome, man. Yeah, it's like, it's cool when people are coming up with phrases and stuff about your work. So speaking of that, I produced a meme today. I don't know if you saw the Starskin Hutch one.
Oh, I did. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I was gonna bring it up just for lulz for a second too, because it was and it's related to Pool Party, so it's maybe funny to show on there as well. But one sec, let me share the screen. Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not trying to like hit my own Twitter right now, but I just I know I retweeted it. So hey, we're live! Yay! Let's see. Yeah, this one. So sometimes I create some of these, and sometimes I get other people to create them. This one I didn't do, but I was like, can you just get a Starskin Hutch thing and then like put the logos on it? I thought that would be funny. And then
that's great.
And then they this picture of you, they found it. I'm like, is that him? Like,
No.
they're like, yeah. It's like, yeah, we saw it. We saw it on his Twitter. I'm like, well, can you send me the link? And I'm like, holy shit, that is GoldKey. So.
No, that's actually not me. That's Caleb from Barstool Sports.
The plot thickens. Oh my god.
Oh, I thought you knew that.
No.
Yeah, I took a picture with him. He kind of looks more like me than I did at that time because I used to have long hair. I cut it maybe 2 months ago, and I got to meet Caleb when I was at the Waste Management Open, the golf tournament in Arizona, and took a picture with him. But I mean, we look a lot alike. A lot of people are asking the same thing, so that's funny.
Yeah. When did GoldKey become a baseball player and take that? I don't know. The picture sold me, but anyway.
Yeah, no, that I know. He's much cooler looking than me. He's got the stash, so I love it.
I think it's better now. I think the epic failures actually makes it.
No,
better.
It's great.
Okay.
It's great.
Okay, I like it. So, yeah, of course, man. Of course, that's something. Okay, so should we go into where should we go? Because I have a couple different directions I'll take this. Maybe you want to do pool party first, and then I got a couple.
Let's hop into it.
Yeah, let's do that, and I'll stop the screen for now. What is pool party? Where did it come from? And then I got a couple follow-ups on it too, but just briefly for people where we're at now in the process, and a lot of name claims happening right now, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you want to introduce that?
Yeah. So Pool Party is a platform for people to launch their own trustless HEX stake pools. So if you're familiar with Maximus DAO, if you're watching this, you probably are. We launched 5 HEX stake pools last year. So Maxi, Deci, Lucky, Trio, and Base, all different length stakes, but those were all trustless HEX stake pools. And so essentially with Pool Party, we're kind of opening the gates for anyone to launch their own and design it how they want regarding their logo, their ticker, the name, and then also obviously the stake details like how long and how long they want their mint phase for. So it'll be a really cool platform for people to easily launch their own. And right now we're in the middle of the ticker name claim phase, which is a pre-launch phase where people are able to basically lock in the ticker that they want to use for Pool Party. And it's been a massive success. A lot of people, I think we're over 100 ticker names have now been claimed. And this is just the pre-launch phase. So people are obviously very excited for Pool Party, and we're getting a lot of community buy-in. And so, that's 100 potential HEX stake pools that'll be launching on Pool Party. And so I'm kind of blown away. That was like 100 in a day. I thought that maybe we would hit that in like a week, but people are locking it in. Some very, very cool names. So it's been awesome to watch.
It looks like Nami claimed GoldKey, perhaps, or somebody did. Somebody claimed.
Oh yeah, I actually locked it in. This was so crazy. I was sending money from Coinbase to a new wallet, which I would recommend people to do. Just always sanity check on security. But I had sent ETH from Coinbase to this wallet so I could claim GoldKey, but I got hit with like a random 3-day delay, and I'm like, oh my god, somebody's gonna claim it. Somebody's gonna claim it, and I finally hit my account, and I locked it in. So yeah,
thank you, Brian Armstrong, for security. #security. Yes. Yeah. So there's a few different components to this too. So there's the name claim portion, which is I was watching Dipcatcher stream earlier today, the replay from last night, which it's kind of like the pregame. And he kind of went into that. And then there's the actual, so you got the names for the pools, you got the name claim, and then later on there'll be some sort of like auction deal with them.
Yeah. So this is the purpose of this phase was really to allow people that are really serious about launching pools to secure these names before launch. After launch, you will still be able to get names. And how that will work will actually be you will place a bid on a name, and then there'll be like an auction, a 24-hour auction for people to bid on a name and secure it that way. So and that'll actually be with Party. So it'll be kind of similar to like the Hedron HSI auctions, where people will be actually using the Party token to bid on these ticker names, and that party that's used is burned. So it'll have a deflationary effect on the supply.
And how does the name, or not name thing, how does the airdrop work? That's one piece I'm missing.
Right. So yes, there will be an airdrop to Maximus DAO token holders. So if you hold any of our tokens, there will be a snapshot between now and the launch of Pool Party. And so basically based off of how much Maximus DAO tokens you hold, you'll be able to claim that in party. So in total, it'll be 10% of the party supply will be airdropped to Maximus DAO holders.
And that'll be, so you need to go and claim the airdrop. It's not just automatic deal.
Correct. So it'll go, the mint phase will go on for 30 days, and then the airdrop phase, because we'll need to calculate, the percent for the airdrop. So airdrop claim will happen after the mint phase. And so I guess one thing to note as well on ticker name claim. So what you're actually doing is you're minting ticker name claim points. And this is actually an ERC20 token, kind of just a placeholder token, but it's called name claim. And you can actually roll those into airdrop points, which a lot of people have actually been doing. The point of the ticker name claim phase was definitely for claim names, but you can lock in airdrop points at a little bit better of a rate than you would if you waited. So, and on the site, you'll see convert leftover name claim points, and that'll be converting your name claim ERC20 tokens into party airdrop points.
So will you be able to trade the name claim? I know it's not probably meant to be, but they're ERC20.
Yeah, you can. Obviously we're not like advising people to do that. You totally can, though. It is a transferable. And I don't know if anyone's set up like a liquidity pool for that or anything like that. But yeah, it is an ERC20 token.
Interesting. And the names, are they NFTs?
Right. So I think Dipcatcher kind of teased that last night, but yes. So originally they weren't going to be NFTs, but just kind of talking to our community, it sounds like people wanted them to be NFTs. So the ticker names that people are claiming right now will be NFTs. So you'll be able to tap into OpenSea and other NFT marketplaces to trade those as well.
I've heard rumblings of other stake pool stuff coming out there. Maybe that's one of I think I caught some kind of stream with Dipcatcher talking about. It's a competition, so and this was the original idea you all had for a while, but okay, maybe this is a good timing to do it. Is there, I guess, other people? I think the other one's called Steakhouse. It's the one that's been making the rounds, talking on different shows that I've seen at least. Maybe there's others as well, but can you compare, if you know much about that project, like what if someone asks what's the difference between the two? How would you explain that?
To be honest, I'm not going to speak too much on their product just because I don't, they are trying to build what we're building. I advised them, I said, you guys, rather than run a sacrifice phase to pay developers to build this, you guys should just launch pools on Pool Party and keep the money in the community. But I think they decided against that. But yeah, I won't speak too much to what they're doing. I'll let them kind of make their own mistakes on that. I'm honestly a little they're probably watching this right now. They've been just repeating everything I say. So, it is what it is, but just gonna, when people try to copy HEX, best thing to do is just ignore it. So that's what I'm trying to do, but it is what it is.
Maybe I'll reframe it a little bit. Maybe you could talk about what is for this trustless, ability. We got name claim. You got people to be able to create their own pools. I guess for a certain number of days, they're able to set up the parameters and stuff like that. Maybe you talk about a little bit of the highlights of what makes Pool Party awesome.
Yeah. So I think the thing I'm most excited for is one, the thing I enjoyed most of last year was just those launch phases. I'm sure you remember, it was just crazy to watch the amount of HEX that was coming in the pools, and it was just this excitement around HEX staking that I had never felt before, and I don't think anyone else had. Hitting over 1 billion when we were doing the perpetuals was just insane. So I'm looking forward to like continuing that on like an ongoing basis, just constant celebration of stake and HEX. The perpetuals and Maxi were kind of like, perpetuals is still like a yearly thing, but pool party will be a continuous, launch phase of new pools and more HEX getting staked. So that's probably one thing I'm most excited for is just like the fun of staking together. Probably number two is I feel like pool party will open up the gates for people to attach like new narratives and new ideas to HEX staking. We've been talking to like some communities that are already planning to launch pools. And so like, bringing in new people's new narratives, new ideas to HEX staking and offering them like this trustless solution that's audited and proven to work rather than them trying to like build their own thing and there being that risk, I think is huge. And so just creating like this HEX centric way for people to, earn trustless yield, I think is huge. And so when it comes to like charities, I think there's going to be a good amount of just like meme pools too. Like they're just based off the names, like there's some funny names. So probably some meme aspect to it, but yeah, I'm just excited to see how people utilize this, right? Like this is kind of our, like, we're opening the door for people to like bring their own ideas and own creativity. And we're not necessarily leading as much as we have with our own pools. And I'm just excited to see what people come up with and how they drive attention and grow their pools.
Well, that's something that I respect so much about, like my three favorite devs in the community. The Maximus guys and the Hedron guy. It is the airdrops, the lack of sacrifice phases, the building directly on the blue chips. HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX. Why not have sacrifice phases? Like, why do you guys decide that? I'm pretty sure I saw a Dipcatcher tweet that's like, we don't do sacrifice phases. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was like, that further confirms that you guys have this philosophy around it. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I just think like, I feel like Richard Hart, like the idea of what PulseChain and PulseX was like, it's just kind of been bastardized, honestly, with these sacrifice phases. And I know people launch their tokens in outside of our community and like a way, I'm sure, to like not be a security, but they're just going to kind of like, they've been getting more and more ridiculous, like just what people are like sacrificing for. And it's like, will that actually stand up? I think for me, what I love, one of our best innovations was our mint phase, where it's a completed product. You're minting your tokens. You're not like hoping that you're going to get something in return. It's not a promise coin. So everything we've created, it's like when you're minting, you get your tokens right away. And I love that. And I think it's been a huge piece of our success is just been like launching completed products that don't require a sacrifice phase. And I think a lot of people respect that, they're just kind of over sacrifice phases. And so, yeah, it's been a net positive, I think, for the community.
Well, funny enough, it's well, I guess to like, why do people want sacrifice phases? A lot of it is to fund the development, right? Yeah. Like that would be like a key part of that usually. Mm-hmm. But funny enough, with PulseChain, HEX, PulseX, I guess we'll focus on PulseChain, PulseX. Those sacrifice phase, Richard's rumored to already have enough money to do everything, and none of the money's moved, so he's not funding the devs with it. So why do you think that there was a sacrifice? Why not just airdrop everyone the PLS, launch the network? Like, why was there a sacrifice phase in the first place for PulseChain and PulseX?
It's a really good question. And I don't know. I guess we won't know the answer until after PulseChain. We were in a Twitter space the other day, and I think there's kind of this assumption that all those funds, like people talk about over $1 billion been sacrificed, and there's just kind of this this thought that like all that money is going to be used to like provide liquidity or something, and I don't know if that's true. I think there's also this element of like, just kind of like a thought of like a backing of PulseChain, that there's like $1.1 billion that like want to buy into this into this chain. And so from a marketing perspective, I think it's big.
Skin in the game.
Yeah, like skin in the game. But yeah, I think it's going to be, obviously, I think the person, with Richard Hart, I think he obviously already has enough money. So I think that was kind of a big fundamental with HEX, is that because he was already pretty well off, he's not like dependent on those funds to like pay his devs. And this is the funniest thing, is like people are like, oh my God, Richard Hart has so much HEX, like, and then he turns around and launches PulseChain and like, or, launches the sacrifice, and people give him even more HEX. So it's like that just killed the narrative of like Richard Hart having too much, and people are more than willing to give him more, so.
Is that why he was able to buy all the Gucci's? Because of PulseChain and PulseX. He finally hit the bar for being able to wildly spend money on luxury goods.
Yeah. No, that was a wild move to be doing in the middle of just a bear market, just like continue to flex. But I'm definitely happy with Richard Hart's kind of pivot and marketing and what he's doing now. So I think it's net positive.
It's been a complete, is it 180 or are we at 210? Like what dollar are we at with him? It's, he went completely from, I still miss the crush your haters type of thing. I miss him streaming, I miss him debating, and actually every once in a while, I was like, I'd like a new Gucci picture. I'm running out of thumbnail stuff right now, but that's fine, whatever. But now he goes to completely like back to the roots. Let me show you pictures of me when I was a kid. Like, I never thought I'd see pictures of Richard as a kid. Not that many on Twitter. From him. And then, posting all the school stuff and all the stories, we've heard for years about him going to the all black school, the way he would say it at least. And this whole background story. And then now he has pictures. I'm like, oh my God. I didn't really doubt it before, but I'm like, dude, it's legit. Like, I'm looking at it now. There's even a hexagon in his picture that you could draw around all the people. Like, what do you think he's doing as far as that goes? Like, what kind of pivot is this?
I know it was kind of out of the blue. Like, I partially, like, here's the thing. I don't normally comment too much on Richard Hart because it's kind of just like a losing battle. Like, he has diehard supporters, and I'm one of them. So I'm like, I'm for whatever Richard wants to do. I'm kind of in my own boat, doing my own thing with HEX too, right? So I never like criticize him for what he's doing, but personally, I think one of the biggest things was probably when he's starting to give more PulseChain updates. He saw that like this engagement that he was getting here was so much better than probably like his flex posts, even though like he did go viral with a few of those. But I think for me, I think it was more of a shift to like becoming, a leader for PulseChain and tapping into that engagement, which I think's been like amazing. Like, he's getting so many, even though it's like, it feels like, when's he going to launch this thing? Cause now he's just like teasing us every day. Like, who's excited? Like, but it's working. And I hope he continues to do that because it's net positive. And I think it's a lot better. Cause the thing I don't know if Richard Hart realizes this, but like, I'm all for like getting new people, but he's a leader within our community, and the things that he does, this community does, and they'll like follow him. So like when he was flexing all of the like Gucci and all of that stuff, like our community, wants to do that too. And so as much as I love like getting new people, I think it's like, I love to see him becoming the leader for our community first, and because people will strive to do whatever he does. And so, like we were talking about with like value, I think as we move into the Pulse, I see crypto stylist, new Richard Hart era, 100%. I think he has the opportunity now, like as we're rolling into PulseChain, to like become the leader we all know he can be. And the person that, like, if you had a community and you want everyone to strive to be that person, I hope that like he kind of continues to move in that direction. I think that'd be huge.
Yeah, the way I describe it too is, it's funny because I have a very different personality than he does, or I guess he can pick whatever personality he wants to it, whatever era he wants to, whatever phase he's in, But I think everything is, I'm kind of with you on the boat of like, no matter what, I support him. I know what he's doing is for a reason. It's calculated. He's he's doing the best he can for the mission, glory, for, you know, to do the best for the community. I didn't start using the Red Bull background until all the PP talk, and which I still use today because I don't think Red Bull's going away. We've got to get that sponsorship. We got to show them love. So we need more cross collaboration with energy drinks. Yeah. But I think it is. I don't know. It's funny how he landed on this. It's not even, is it humble, Richard? Because he's still talking about charts. He's still adding to the list of failing project stuff. I think I've told people before too, even, you know, the Tharus.com, trying to figure out what to call HEX stuff. I want to see him live stream. I want to see how he talks in real life, 100%. Again.
100%.
That's how I'm going to evaluate where he's at and what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, the like nostalgic stuff, we might all be just looking at that, because I don't know if you, like, when you go to your mom's house, for example, and she just has old pictures, it kind of takes you back, and maybe he was just kind of going through that. Because when I'm looking around, like what was happening, like when he kind of made that move, there wasn't anything like that, I don't know, that I saw that would make him do that. He probably was just like talking to his mom or something, and she sent him pictures and he shared it. But yeah, I don't know. That's my thought on that. But I definitely think on a more macro scale, I think he's kind of noticing, he's probably just tired of, like, you know, flexing that, like he tweeted out, like he probably hit a wall on, like, I'm just tired of doing that, and I just want to, you know, be more real and tap into something else. And you know, we're all human, right? Like we evolve and learn, and I think it's good.
You think it's a coincidence that just pretty much perfect timing with that happening, he was at 299K on Twitter, like right at 300. I kind of feel like he was, you know, maybe talking to his mom, or, oh, is he in America right now? Maybe he's in America. Maybe he's been here this whole time. We don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe the castle is in North Carolina. And I think that, he saw, like, okay, you know, this worked. I doubled my followers, you know, whatever the metrics were. He's probably got a whole freaking war room of monitors everywhere, or like a whiteboard that's got all the master plan on it, I like to imagine. And he's like, all right, we're pretty much there. Let me go to nostalgia time. Let me go, you know, let me go connect back with that part of myself that I've pushed out for so long, because I needed to beat down the Gucci. I needed to just go through that phase. So it didn't bother me at all. I mean, even when he would say stuff, and I would just be like, why are you even saying that? Like, what are we getting out of this? Yeah. For me, it's always like, trust the process.
Yeah.
I always fall back to that.
100%. I mean, like, think about Richard Hart. He's always out of pocket. Like, if you look back on his old videos, he was always saying stuff, you know, and I don't know, like, I don't think that flexing is necessarily going to go away completely. Like I think that is a little bit more of Richard Hart's personality than he wanted to admit. Like, he always kind of framed it as, this is for outrage marketing. I kind of wish he would have just owned it a little more and be like, yeah, I like, you know, I like to, like, I like nice stuff too, and just owned it. But yeah, we'll see. Because I do, just seeing his tweets, I do feel like he's like biting his tongue, holding back like what he wants to actually say, like flexing on people about his calls and stuff. So we'll see. Yeah, if he really is like humbled now or something. I don't know. We'll see.
He always tries to say, again, this is me watching hundreds of hours of videos and clipping. It's like he always like, oh, I'm a simple man. I just like girls. And every time he says it, I'm like, you are a complex person with a lot of different sides and a lot of, you know, galaxy brain and all that stuff. You're more than that. But he goes through these different phases. I'm just going to talk to the chat because I've been ignoring them for a minute. Also, by the way, now we got triple the people here. Check out this new shirt. Boom. Not trying to be a thousandaire, people. Not trying to be a thousandaire. HEX.com. Come to a local meetup and you can get one for free. I will not sell you anything, including merch. Merch is all free as well. Did have a question from UFO. Let me find it. I couldn't answer off the top of my head, but I know you perfectly can. What is the Telegram group for there, and what's the website, I guess? Yeah, it's
t.me/Maximus DAO for our Telegram. And then
is there a pool party specific one?
No, I started like, I don't know, we just had too many products to have separate, so we just have them all.
It's a lot of rooms. It's a lot of rooms, yeah.
I started one for team a while back and just like consolidated. It's just better to have it one. Here, I just messaged or just dropped it in chat. That's the Telegram, and then
it auto deleted it because you are not a mod currently. But excuse me. Can you drop in the private chat and I'll put it in? And
yeah.
In the meantime, I'll mod you on YouTube as well.
Mod me up.
I know it's like, could I just make a list of people, like pre-list, and then send it to YouTube? Maybe I want to get to Mr. Beast when I get like 1 million or 10 million or whatever, and they'll just like do it for me.
Yeah, they'll have a person on call for you.
Man, I bet he's got like a team. It's not even a person. Like they're the Mr. Beast team inside of YouTube. I guarantee it. Can you just type a regular message so I see your name right here?
Wait, me?
In the chat. Yeah. Just type like anything so I can just right click you.
There you go.
Perfect. And you are modded. Boom.
Sweet.
You've been modded, sir. Yeah, and okay. But you dropped the link here. Now you want to go? How about you drop them now? That you can drop them.
Okay,
I'll read chat. Cool. Yeah. Let's see. We like efficiency here at RHMax. What's up, Stefan? Welcome. I'm trying to think. I don't think anyone else. I might have missed your question getting before, but I'm just scrolling down here. Red Bull, Green Bear, GoldKey. Besides more finely tuned timeframes, what's the strongest case you have to make for native stake over perps perpetuals?
I mean, I still think like the time locking feature is great for native stakes. Although like we kind of simulated that and improved it with diamond hands, but yeah,
that was a game changer for me, by the way.
Yeah,
that's I've told Dipcatcher before too. Like my favorite principle of HEX is saving myself from myself being tempted. And once that was removed, I love the perps, I love Maxi, but I'm like, it's liquid. And from what I particularly value, that was a downside rather than an upside. But with diamond hands, you're like, fuck it, we got this. So
yeah,
major props for that, by the way. I think that helped a lot of people, not just me.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it was a great signal to just show that like people are utilizing these pools as they're designed, which is to hold to redemption. And I think like of all the tokens, I think like 15% was diamond handed. And then I think base might have been like 25%. So that's something that like people don't, I think, recognize a lot with the perpetuals, is like how much is actually time locked. But it's pretty cool. Yeah,
that's an awesome feature. UFO asked bunch of RH to live stream from Ferrari one day during stream. He liked the idea. Still waiting. I could see in 2 years when Richard changes phases again to, I don't know, longevity founder Richard, I hope. And he's got to do some extreme videos. So he's got to like drive to McDonald's in a Ferrari and stream or something. Let's make that happen, UFO.
No, honestly, that's the one thing I think with Richard Hart. If he just had like it could be even an intern, just follow him around and just be constantly like, doing a daily vlog, I think it would take Richard Hart's like numbers to another level. You know what I mean?
Dude,
just
like a great idea.
Yeah, but maybe he doesn't want to do that.
That's a great idea. Well, I mean, maybe like it depends. Like we never thought we'd see the things that we saw before. Not that, and I agree with you too. What you were saying, I feel like he was kind of holding back. I think he did like that side, but also remember him saying that he would be like, I got all this money. I don't like buying crap. It's more stuff to take care of, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it was always part of him that was like, yeah, I could see him like decked out and stuff, and not just wearing a black t-shirt all the time. The HEX t-shirt, for example. So I think he tapped into that side. But he, like all these things, he has to like get over other parts of himself to like really get into that mode. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask too, and still scrolling through the chat. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in. Oh yeah, let me post the t.me/Maximus DAO. Got lots and lots of people in there. Cool place in hexpool.party.
Yeah, so that's the website to learn more about Pool Party. And then through that, you'll be able to find if you want to claim a ticker name, you can launch the app through that site.
Yes. And Lyco Dash Canada. Speaking of having one Telegram, holder of soon to be 10 tokens. When are we getting one website?
So we do have one website, portfolio.maximus.cash, I think is the best site as of right now to view all the Maximus DAO assets. I'll drop that link too.
Okay.
But yeah, I am going to work on another landing page for all the assets too.
And I wanted to ask you, just for people, I know a lot of people here are probably familiar with Maximus, but
Yeah.
there's been so many different projects that came out, and just, I mean, we're up to 8, 9, 10 tickers now.
This will be 10.
10, number 10, nice.
Technically 11 if you count name claim, but we're not going to be. Yeah.
What if name claim turns out to be the 10,000X?
Dude, water, like the only other like coin that like we didn't really, it was more of just like a momentum token. Yeah. Like is doing better than everything else. So that's how crypto works. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I can run through what we launched. So our first product was actually coming up on a year now, is Maxi. That was our first HEX stake pool, which was a 15-year max link stake. And that pooled 294 million HEX. After Maxi, we launched 4 more pools. So that's Base, Trio, Lucky, and Deci. So Base is a 1-year stake, Trio is a 3-year stake, Lucky is a 7-year, and Deci is a 10-year. And those are called the perpetuals because they're perpetual pools, meaning they auto restake after what we call a reload phase. So the stake ends, you have the ability to redeem your HEX principal plus earn yield. You can leave your HEX in the pool and just be auto restaked, or you can mint more into those pools at the new mint rate. Along with the perpetuals, we launched Team, which is a growth engine for the perpetuals that earn based off the bigger pays better bonus from the perpetuals. And so people stake that to earn yearly rewards. And then we launched Poly Maximus, which is a Hedron 15-year Hedron stake pool. And then next to Poly, you launched Water, which was basically a momentum token for supporting Poly Maximus. And let's see, this year we launched DCA, which is, I don't know if anyone's ever done this before, but it's basically an access pass to an algorithm, a trading algorithm. And so we kind of just innovated, rather than like just selling an algorithm, we launched kind of this with a token, so people can actually sell, kind of like a trustless referral program for DCA. And so that's the DCA token. And now with Pool Party, the party token, you'll be able to mint that with ETH once Pool Party launches. And then for Party, you can hold it liquid and earn HEX from people utilizing Pool Party. So there'll be a fee, like a platform fee for Pool Party that goes to party holders. And then you'll also be able to stake Party and earn more Party. So you'll have a choice between earning HEX or more Party. And then, yeah, I think we went over the airdrop as well. So if you're a holder of any of the tokens I mentioned, you'll be able to claim free Party.
Free Party, there is no entry fee other than holding any of the Maximus DAO tokens.
Yeah.
How does that work, by the way? I mean, a lot of people are like, how the magic? How do you actually? I mean, is it just you connect to the contract and then it determines if you have any of these addresses, which are the tokens, and then you're able to claim a certain amount based on that? Can you maybe walk us through that process?
Yeah, so it'll actually be a snapshot. So yeah, people won't know when that's going to happen. So again, it'll be from either like sometime between now and launch, where it'll kind of be just a snapshot of all the holders, and then the contract will be able to read from that snapshot who is holding at that time, and you'll be able to claim basically based off of the amount of tokens you hold. But the rates will be different for each token, and that won't be known either, just so people don't try to game that. Some tokens might be earning more. Yeah,
that's great information, and it also makes me think of when people say that game the system. What does that actually mean? Like, what would be would make it less, like, what would be bad if people knew the snapshot date now? Like, why would that change the distribution? Like, why would that be a bad thing?
Mainly just like the people that would buy and dump, just like, you know, just for that moment, and they still might, right? But it's like not revealing the rates so that people, you know, like I would much rather people buy the tokens, the Maximus tokens that they want to actually hold, because they're all great tokens, honestly. I want people to buy the ones that they want most, and to plan to hold, versus like trying to just buy the one to get the party airdrop. So that's my thing behind it. And it wouldn't be terrible, like with people trying to game the system, but again, it's just kind of like adds a little game theory to it, and hopefully encourage people to buy the tokens that they want.
What are the chances DCA reaches the height price-wise of Unisocks?
That'd be crazy, honestly. Like, you never know with crypto. Like I was saying, with water, just how it's performing. It's like DCA. I mean, some people have, like, from their mint rate to like them minting DCA to when they like were able to sell, liquidity is pretty low, but it's understandable. But they were able to like double, like 2x their money. So that's pretty awesome that, you know, just because of this platform, they basically not only got the algorithm for free, but they were able to actually make money on it. So that's really cool.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a lot of great projects. Oh yeah, here's one from the PMP. Does anyone know the mystery box allocation for party? Yeah, you want to speak to that, GoldKey?
So there won't be any like there won't be any allocation directly to the mystery box. There isn't like a percentage. Obviously the mystery box does hold Maxi and team, but we'll see if they even claim the party. They might just leave me on the bone for, you know, other people who are claiming that airdrop. So
lots of options for the no max expectations mystery box.
No expectations from the mystery box.
That's another question too. Maximus DAO. A lot of people, you know, just call it Max. Understandably shortened to Maximus, but Maximus DAO. What is DAO? What does it mean to have a Maximus DAO with this, you know, and tokens like that?
Yeah. So I mean, originally Maximus DAO was because we were actually going to be operating the whole pool as a DAO, and it was actually on this platform called Aragon. And I'm so glad we simplified how we were going to facilitate these pools, because it was like so crazy how people would have to like send their HEX, and then the DAO would have to vote to approve their pool tokens. And it was just insane. So that was like the initially why we called it Maximus DAO. But really, we've kind of just we've now owned it, because I personally think that we're the most decentralized autonomous organization there is. Like, we only launch trustless smart contracts that don't depend on the work of others. And so we're kind of like reinventing the word. And yeah, so I think we're kind of the shining light on the hill for DAOs, because I think a lot of DAOs are focused on all the wrong things. Not necessarily that it's wrong, but they're just trying to figure out like governance and a lot of things that like aren't the most important, and they're just kind of stuck in the weeds on that. Whereas like Maximus DAO is definitely a for-profit DAO. Like, our number one goal is to build products that are trustless and earn a lot of yield. So yeah, I think we'll definitely be. We're not only the most decentralized and autonomous, I think we'll be the most successful DAO to ever exist too, at the end of the day.
I think the core foundation sets you up to do something special, for sure. Yeah. I wanted to get into a few ideas too around, a lot of them came from the community, been floating around too, just because, who better to talk to about new tickers and new ideas than you gentlemen. So it's specifically you today, obviously. But one idea that came from that too, like, will we ever see, have you guys thought about like Maximus Utah, like the DAO holds land rights for, some sort of place of Hexaco in Utah or Colorado or some other, arid place that has land like that. Have you thought about that kind of governance, if you can say it?
Yeah. No, I'm all for that. I mean, on a personal level, I do want to get like more exposure to real estate, and I think there's definitely kind of a movement going on with like, I feel like it's probably more around like NFTs. People talk about like real world assets and ownership and bringing that on chain. So from a narrative perspective, I think that could be, the timing could be pretty close to being right for that. But it's just like, like Richard Hart talks a lot about just like, does this need to be on chain? And like, do we need to bring that over if we want to get exposure to real estate? I don't know, like I don't know. Yeah. That's a really cool idea. Honestly, I'd be down to, I feel like the idea of Hexaco has floated around since like the inception of Hex, and someone needs to make a move on actually getting the land and doing it. So maybe we'll step up and do that. It'd be cool.
Dude, that'll be legit. I'm down for that. So a few of the ideas that are floating around community that made a list, just 2 or 3 on here, but I think I might have talked to the pitcher about one of these before too, but let's see, what's the one? Oh yeah, so building on, I think this is the one I asked him about briefly when I had my stream a month or 2 ago. Building on Watts NFTs, some kind of collateralizing them, because I remember DC mentioned that. I was like, why are they underrated? Like, why aren't people paying more attention to them? Why is everything about Hedron and Icosa? Mm-hmm. And one thing you mentioned that I thought about before is there is no price chart for the Wattses. Mm-hmm. There's no trading view for Wattses, right? So they get a lot less exposure due to that, even though they're this amazing, DeFi, backed type of asset, NFT like that. So collateralizing Wattses, good idea, bad idea?
I mean, I definitely looked into it. Something that our community was asking for was essentially a Watsa pool, right? That owned Watsas, and we tokenize it through an ERC20, of the ownership of these Watsas. The truth is like, they're just not, like the ones that are listed at least on OpenSea are just not worth like their price. Today's price, maybe like, depending on how you look at it, but there's just better ways to get Icosa yield exposure than to buy Wats's off the market. So that was kind of the biggest thing like that I saw, and why we didn't move forward that. Not to say we wouldn't maybe at some point, but I do, that the thing about the price chart, I do personally, and this is just my own biased personal opinion, I just love ERC20 so much more than NFTs. From what I would call like a market efficiency perspective, it's just like way easier to swap, Maxi, for example, versus like trying to list an HSI on OpenSea and hoping that someone like trying to find that that price. Like it's very hard to like price an HSI against all other HSIs. But there's trade-offs to that, right? Like I think that because of that kind of inefficiency, maybe there's more opportunity on both sides. Maybe you can sell it for a little more than you could if it was an ERC20 token, or maybe you get to scoop up one that's at a discount. Hard to say, but personally, I just love like, being able to swap in and out with a liquidity pool. I think that's a big advantage of like, NFTs versus ERC20s.
So the price is like a primary factor too. Would it be, so if we go back in time and it would have came up around the time of launching, when you could have minted Wattses at the time, would that be a more viable way of doing it then?
Wait, say that one more time. Repeat that question.
So if we could go back and, y'all wanted to do the collateralization of Wattses, but it was during the minting phase, like the 14-day minting phase or so, that would be a lot more viable plan than getting them off OpenSea, for example.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's really what I was looking at, more of like the people that locked in those Watsas. I think it would have been a better strategy to, obviously create the Watsas during that launch phase. It just, from the price perspective of what they're listed on for OpenSea, it just like there's better ways to get Icosa yield.
John Sloth, you're so right. You may be slow, but you are not stupid, sir. Just burn it. Don't
I
let your
didn't know.
dreams be
By the way,
dreams.
I did not
Burn
say,
it.
I did not say Watsons are worthless. I just said that the price.
He
Yeah,
wants
yeah.
you to burn it. He wants you to burn your
Oh,
Watson
yeah.
because he wants that sweet baby yield. Yeah. No, he's it's definitely a joke. I'm pretty sure. I mean, the Sloth, you're not stupid, right? He's not. He's
maybe a better
very
way,
smart guy. Very
honestly,
smart guy.
like a better way to than trying to like do a pool, because like what I was looking at is like doing a pool that like market bot, maybe some type of like pooling of from Watson holders, like pulling those together and creating, you know, a pool that way rather than having to have them buy them first. But yeah, that was I haven't thought about Watsons in a minute, but I'm sure they're doing great.
They hit principal a 2-3 months ago, I think, and I mean that whole staking ecosystem, the crazy amount. I mean, I get confused. I'm looking at the portal. I'm like, why is this number more than what I put in?
Yeah.
Are we over 100% staking? Like this, it's insane.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I think the market's trying to figure out how to price Hedron and Icosa, and you know, like just based off like the poly discount. I don't think, you know, people on HEX they understand the concept of like a 15-year stake because they're just long on HEX. And I think with the Icosa ecosystem, I think there's potentially more short-term money to be had just with like, you know, stakes ending and being able to like liquidate and sell your yield. You know, but it's kind of like Hedron, Icosa, like those two. I think people just need to pull back a little bit and look at it from like a 5-year perspective versus a 1 year. And I think they're gonna be great. You know, they're just the market and just like the initial liquidity shock of this first year. The market's just trying to figure it out, but it'll find its value. And then I think it'll raise the whole ecosystem for sure.
raised to the roof like a pool party.
Yeah.
A couple other quick ideas real quick, just to, again, from the community I've seen, and I was like, I think it's a good guy to talk to him about it. Does it make any sense to stake HSIs? Like a contract portal that lets you earn yield on a basket of HEX stakes, kind of like the original poly idea, but like maybe a little different. Yeah, does that make any sense?
No, it does. I think it's like the thing when it comes to like staking, it's like staking just a stake doesn't mean, like, I think people get kind of blinded by this idea of like, oh, it's giving me crazy yield, but it's like people underestimate the thing that you're yielding needs to be valuable. And that's why I love HEX so much. And I think, you know, with HSIs, I think Alex built a great system for, you know, the buyback, like being able to get Icosa that way. You know, maybe, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's actually an interesting idea though, just with, yeah. What do you think would be the best yield for the HSIs when you're staking?
Like what you would get? Would you get like another token, or would you get? Does it make an HSI? You get an HSI out of the stake.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be pretty sweet, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could create like some kind of like diamond hand contract too, where you put your HSI in, and I don't know. It's a little harder though, but I hadn't thought about HSI staking. That's a good idea. It's cool.
And one more, somebody had mentioned flash loans for HEX in stakes. Don't have a lot of context around it, but have you thought about anything around flash loans for helping to end in stakes?
Yeah, I had a little bit. I think Alex had actually tweeted something about like sending HSIs, which, because it does have that transferability, you might be able to do something around in-stake gas fees for HSIs. You know, the hard thing with just flash loans for a HEX stake is like, I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to think through if that'd be able to be a trustless solution for a flash loan that people couldn't utilize in a bad way. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, the way to go is just like I feel like the best trustless solution is to GA, like incentivize people to GA stakes. But yeah, it's an interesting idea with flash loans.
Kind of like Communis, right? There's
Yeah.
a reward for that. Interesting thing about Communis, if people haven't heard, not communist, by the way, not communist, not communist, communist, not commie token. The DCC affectionately referred to it one stream. It not only you can only stake the coins you mint from your stakes. You can't buy it off the market and stake them. So I'm just like, wow, that is so, I don't know how to say it, community, like from the community in community first and then outwards kind of thing. It's like you can't just go, because my thought across my mind, hey, there's cheap communists out there. Let me go get some and go stake it and just see what it's worth in the future. Like, no, you can't do that, sir. You gotta have, you can only mint from your HEX stakes and stake what you get from that. So I was like, that was pretty cool for a community driven idea.
That is really cool. I didn't know that. Yeah, we're trying to integrate. So these pools for Pool Party will get Hedron. You'll be able to redeem Hedron from the pools that you participate in. We're also trying to integrate Calm as well. So that would be big. Yeah, it's a cool platform. I haven't spent too much time trying to understand all the dynamics of it, but I'm honestly all for people building incentive tokens around HEX staking. I think it's awesome. I hope more people do, honestly.
But you're just part of the echo chamber. We got to do more crosswise. There's like this visceral on both sides. It's like, we need more HEX rewards for Hexicans. And when the other side's like, you're just an echo chamber.
Yeah. Like, well, the thing I don't get, like, there's people that on one hand will say like, oh, there's 150 projects launching on PulseChain, but then they're like, you guys need to stop launching more tickers. It's like, well, wouldn't you want the coins that are being launched to be HEX focused and like actually pushing HEX forward and not like just random tokens being launched?
No, you freaking Maxi.
It's a weird conundrum. I think a lot of people are in, but it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, I think PulseChain definitely opened the gates for, new people to build in our community. And I'm definitely a HEX maximalist, but I'm obviously not like a Bitcoin maximalist that's like a one coin person. I like to support things that support HEX. And I think there's a solid foundation of good trustless products that are doing that. So I think we're in a good spot.
Same page, man. That's what I mean. I literally got comments like, oh, you gotta stop. Like, why are you talking about other projects? I'm like, yeah, I really try to focus on projects that help the blue chips, HEX, PulseChain, PulseX. And there's a lot of those, and I don't see any reason not to. So I'm not, whatever maximalist you think I am, I'm not that one. I'm Richard's ideals first, is product second, and then the ecosystem that supports all that cool stuff. Yeah, I'm that kind of maxi too.
Yeah.
Shoot, I was going to say something on. Oh, so yeah, about all the projects launching on PulseChain. So I would definitely, I'd like to have 20, 30, 50 really solid, trustless, really good utility, positive feedback loop, those type of projects, rather than 150, 250, just, hey, some of these just roll the dice on. However, I acknowledge that those other, let's say there's 20 like no-brainer solid projects that are going to launch on PulseChain whenever it launches. And there's going to be, maybe 150 total. I still see value in all those other people, bringing all those other people in who think those are good ideas. Eventually, maybe they'll find the best products. There'll be a lot of wreckage to sort through from that as well. But I see the value in that as well. I definitely, it's just priorities. It's not like a black and white type of thing for me. It's like, number one is like the best projects. I hope they get the most support and they're successful. Everything else, Godspeed. Hopefully you bring some people in, but and they find better projects if you're not the best one. But I see the value in both sides. I'm not just like this call the hot list piece of crap. Like, no, it's like some of those I think we get some action from.
No, 100%. And I don't know, personally, I don't know where this list of 150. I probably know like two hands full of projects. So I would love to see this list of all these projects, and I'm there with you. It's kind of like an inevitable thing of people launching and wanting to launch. And obviously it makes sense why people would want to launch to the HEX community. We just have like, we're a solid community to launch into. And Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I'm definitely trying to make an effort to be not necessarily on like attack mode of like protecting Hex as much. You know, but yeah, I'm definitely more focused on Hex for sure. Cause I think it's kind of the secret sauce to the success of PulseChain. And also like I want Hex on PulseChain to win. I think a lot of people, it's not like, there's kind of an idea that people have that like Hex on PulseChain is just going to be great. But Hex is going to have competition on PulseChain. Like Pulse and PulseX are going to be Hex's competition. And, you know, we gotta fight for Hex to be great over there as well. And, so that's what I'm going to do.
If you think that splitting buying pressure with all the stuff in the ecosystem right now is going to get crazy, wait till PulseChain actually launches and you see it splitting buying pressure with, you know, the 3 blue chips instead of the 1 blue chip that exists right now.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings. I mean, honestly, I think PulseChain is great, but at the same time, it's like it's probably the best and worst thing to happen to Hex, honestly, especially in like the first year of launch, because like majority of the money from a community will probably be going to those two. And so great opportunity for people that are long on Hex and understand its long-term value, but price wise, I think it's gonna be a little brutal, but we'll see.
Interesting. Yeah, it's that I think there's 2 sides. You could 2 different perspectives on this. You could say that PulseChain bringing so many more people in, they're going to see Hex as the premier product. Of course, they're going to want to buy it. Blah 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 parity. Blah blah blah. Exciting events in crypto, timing, all that stuff. And then the other side, I think, yeah, which is interesting too, which is, hey, splitting buying pressure. People are super interested in PulseChain now. Even a lot of Hexicans they're going to see this new product starting from zero. That you can maybe use some products to lock up. There's different features, a lot more utilities in the community that, I wouldn't say a lot more, but a similar amount of utilities that to help you, you know, do whatever you want with your PulseChain and PulseX versus than even what we have with Hex today. That could be bad for price. It could be good for price. Like, I guess, is there a strong argument you could make either way? Like if you were thinking about this without, yeah, how do you think about what Hex is going to do? I'm trying not to frame this as what's going to happen to Hex when PulseChain launches, but like, I'm just curious how you think about it.
I think the best way to think about it is to have, I mean, it's good to like consider and go into it like having some idea of what you think is going to happen, but I think the best strategy is to just play it as it lies, right? Like we're not going to know how this is going to perform. It may, you know, all of them, like PulseX, all of it could drop a lot significantly out of the gate, which a lot of, you know, most tokens do. And you just have to be ready to take advantage of whatever happens. So for example, like if Hex does tank for, I don't know, 6 months, a year, how are you going to be DCAing into that to maximize your long-term yield with Hex? Because it's not going anywhere, but like the reality is a lot of attention will be on Pulse and PulseX, and you know, how are you going to capitalize? Because those are the people, like there's obviously going to be a class of people who are like, why is Hex doing this? Like, you know, they're always kind of like complaining or like kind of just distracted, trying to like make meaning of it. And the best way is always to just observe, but like be able to take action to maximize like those opportunities. And, you know, that goes for Pulse and PulseX too. Trying to go in with the strategy of like mentally preparing for if it goes either way out of the gate. And yeah, I guess that's all we can do, but it is going to be craziness. Cause you know, the thing I've been talking to a lot of people about recently is just like, it's been so long now since the sacrifice phases that, and just like such a crazy market cycle. We've gone through almost a complete bear market if it's actually over, to where it's like, there were definitely a lot of people that wanted to sell their Pulse during this bear market and didn't, or, you know, couldn't. So maybe there's a class of those people that will dump out of the gate, but now we've also had a lot of time for new people to learn about PulseChain. The community's gotten way bigger. So there's also this like build up buy demand for getting Pulse, especially. And so there's going to be this kind of like convergence of those two classes of people. trying to get in and out. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a very crazy launch for sure.
That's a great point. Yeah. So many people getting in that miss the sacrifice phase,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't wait to buy it. Could that match the sell pressure of everyone who can't wait to dump?
Yeah, for sure.
I want to go through a couple questions and then we'll wrap up on one tweet of yours. You have a lot of good tweets, but there's one in particular I just want to pick your brain on a little bit. But go through a couple questions from the chat, because chat has been amazing today. Alan says, do either one of you foresee LP perpetuals being thick at some point? What would be the likely catalyst for these changes? Low liquidity feature until the in-stake date. GoldKey is definitely a more qualified person to answer this one.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Like, people talk about the perpetuals not having liquidity, but like, I was just looking today, and there is plenty of liquidity to do sizable trades, both in and out. I think the smallest pool is Trio, but even that has like 100K, which, like, you know, for the size of trades that most people do, like, you're still going to be fine there. And in regards to other pools, like Desi has like 1.2 million. Maxi has 750K. You know, there's plenty of liquidity. And so it's kind of one of those, just like, I'm not saying Alan is footing at all. It's kind of just like this like narrative that people are talking about liquidity, but realistically, it's like there's plenty of liquidity to get in and out of the pools.
How would you define plenty of liquidity? Like, is it just you can sell? Is there a certain amount you can sell without much slippage? Like, how do you sort of put your thresholds when you look at it?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of look at like the average trades that people are doing with the pools. And to be honest, like we were talking about earlier, a lot of people are utilizing these just for stake pools. So there's not like crazy volume on these pools. But the trades that do happen, I mean, the biggest ones are like, you know, 20, 30K. Average is probably like hundreds of dollars, right? And for those hundreds of dollars, it's like, you know, any pool they can get in and out of. And then with the bigger trades, it's like they would just need to be either using limit orders. Like, limit orders solve a lot of the issues that people think of with liquidity. Like, you don't need an OTC market. You just need to use limit orders. And so,
or an LP position, which effectively becomes a limit order depending on your ranges and stuff.
Yeah. And Alan, I see your post. I'm definitely not a footer. Yeah. Again, it like wasn't directed at you. I was in a conversation with a few other people that try to bring up liquidity, but I try to, you know, it's just one of those things I just have to reiterate. Like, there's plenty of liquidity. But again, it's like one thing I want to make clear to people is like, we've had zero to do with the liquidity that's been created for these. Like, the liquidity pools that got set up were by the community. We didn't set up anything. So we really, you know, we're just observing too. And there'll be times when there's more liquidity and there's times when people pull for whatever reason. And you just kind of have to, you know, if there's not enough liquidity, just wait on it. And typically, I don't know if people like move, like recycle their liquidity through different coins to like test fees or what, but typically there's plenty for sizable trades.
Let's get a movement to get lucky on Binance. Get plenty of liquidity on Binance. I've heard they have lots of liquidity there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Burn, baby, burn. HEX edits. Yeah, I got a lot of Hedron folks in the chat as well. Scrolling through, I'll take one more question and then we'll wrap up on this one. Awesome tweet. Well, maybe no more questions. I don't see any more unless I missed them. Just a lot of good comments. Appreciate you, chat. Been doing great today, as usual. Yeah, I don't see any more of those. Let's go. Voice is going as well. I'll just bring up this one, which I thought was interesting that we should talk about. Not that one. Do share the right screen, not the one over there. Okay. So HEX ecosystem is booming. Launched. Hedron, Maximus, Icosa, Team, Petrels, Poly, Communis. Upcoming. Pool Party, Fiat, PulseChain, PulseX. I want to ask on this. I just did a stream going over a bunch of different projects with Nate Mintz, okay, Nate Stakes. And we scrolled through Pulse Hot List, and we found there was some, mostly the ones that people know they're popular. That they do have a ranking system. That's the ones near the top are a lot of the ones you've heard about, and of course Fiat and stuff's on there too.
Mm-hmm.
Hedron, Maximus are near the top. But I want to get your take too on these products. Can you just say just a few words of like maybe on each one, like why do you like these? Like maybe I guess you could expound on the tweet. When you got 180 characters, so like why do you like these products? Why do you think they're good for the HEX ecosystem?
Yeah, I mean, we can start with Hedron. Hedron, obviously, I think by design incentivized HEX staking in a really cool way, and was also kind of the first product built on HEX or side, next to HEX, that brought a new income stream to HEX stakers, which I think is really awesome. I think Maximus was obviously the introduction of HEX stake pooling, and I think its success really kind of headlined what we were able to do for the rest of the year. But also just like locking up 294 million HEX for 15 years was huge. And it's also got a Hedron bonus as well. I think it's a 5x Hedron bonus. So great exposure for long-term HEX holders. Icosa, I think, just expands upon Hedron. And I think, people will be surprised about how much HEX got staked as a result of Icosa, really driving people, whether, even though those people were creating HSIs to like get another token, that HEX is still locked, and most of it was for 15 years. So huge net positive on HEX being burnt. And, another cool, innovative income stream for people in our ecosystem. Team and the perpetuals, I think, the perpetuals introduce like kind of an upgraded version of Maxi with the perpetual feature, and also offers exposure through a HEX staking ladder in a really awesome way, maximizing yield, saving on gas. And then Team was kind of our first HEX stake growth engine that it was kind of an innovation that needed to be born out of the perpetual innovation, because one of our fears was like, these pools will be going forever, and how are we going to ensure that like 10 years from now, people are still going to be wanting to grow these pools? So Team was kind of birthed from that, and wanting to, incentivize people to stake more HEX through the pools, which is awesome. Poly, I think its initial, it definitely evolved, right? Like, I think its initial idea of going after HEX stakes was awesome, but it kind of transformed into something that, just based off of the competition that it was facing in the auctions, I think it actually worked out to where the yield that it's earning in Icosa from being a Hedron stake is actually going to be more than what the yield would have been for, the cost that we were paying for HSIs. Poly is definitely a long-term Hedron staking pool, or, great for long-term exposure, because it's not going to be recycling its stake points. It's just going to be staying staked for 15 years. So I think people will be surprised by how valuable that becomes. Communist, again, another HEX staking incentive product, which I'm always in favor of. And I think they introduced game theory that, based off of what they think like good practices around HEX staking and around native HEX staking, and also trying to incentivize GA, which I think, it was actually something me and Dipcatcher talked about for a long time, but it's awesome to see somebody like execute on a cool idea. And I think that's a really cool feature. Pool Party, kind of expanding upon everything that we've done and opening the doors for people to lead their own HEX stake pools and just have fun with it. And I think it's going to make HEX staking, just a more community feel experience, and allow people to be the entrepreneurs that I think a lot of people in our community want to be, and to lead. Fiat is definitely, I've been hesitant to incorporate that into this, but I do think that what Buck is doing with Fiat does bring value to our ecosystem, in offering new financial services around HEX. So, you know, I think it's really important for our community to build education around how to utilize those, you know, his tools without getting wrecked. But I do think it does bring value. And then, yeah, PulseChain, PulseX, obviously, you know, there's just around HEX staking, especially, I think having a separate chain that's lower gas is a good solution, but it also opens up the door for, you know, a new narrative that PulseChain could be bigger than HEX in a lot of ways. And so being able to drive traffic to HEX is huge. And then PulseX, I think, is just such an innovative DEX and a beautiful product that I think HEX is going to benefit a lot, because I think it's going to be one of probably the biggest liquidity pairs for most tokens. And so it's going to experience a lot of upside there.
Well, I wanted to just on PulseX, this one too. I can't, again, this fantastic thread. If we could just for a moment with PulseX, what we know as far as the tokenomics and stuff, again, this is being tested, and we're still waiting for testnet v3 and to see if anything's changed and all that stuff too. But buy and burn, the yield farming, and the LP providing with the incentive token. What, I don't know, is there something, do we have everything we need for PulseX? Is everything there? Like what, you know, what can you say about the tokenomics, and just like, is it, can it be the best DEX? I mean, does it really outcompete all the other ones?
Yeah, I think we have more than enough. I think, yeah, like what PulseX actually does with, I mean, what we're looking at right now with this single-sided staking, it's actually going to facilitate a lot of projects to be able to get attention and to launch through PulseX, which I think is huge. And so one thing I think that's a huge benefit of that is the community will be able to kind of vet through the PulseX DAO. And this is the DAO is definitely one of those things that hasn't been discussed as much, but I do think with just like the approval process, the people launching projects will need to be vetted by the community in order to like be on this list. And it's a cool growth dynamic to one, allow people to earn whatever tokens get launched here, but also, you know, again, community being able to vet a little bit. I mean, yeah, we've got limit orders, which I think's a really underestimated value piece for, yeah, for a DEX that, you know, people are using like platforms like Matcha and 1inch because of limit orders. So the fact that we'll be launching with that's huge. I think the one thing I'm not necessarily concerned about, but I definitely feel the most like need to kind of like speak to our community is around staking LP. And I think it's called farming on PulseX, but I think a lot of people are going to be diving into liquidity providing in order to get the incentive token. And I'm a little concerned that people aren't going to know like what they're doing and might like lose out there because they're chasing like a free token with the incentive token. But other than that, like, I mean, it's going to have a big upside for liquidity. But yeah, that's probably the only thing I'm like slightly concerned about is just people, because this community does love free tokens. I'll say that, like, you know, out of all the tokens that, you know, Hart is building, so many people still ask about the incentive token. And he's like, he said it so many times. He's like, care about the other stuff I'm building, but you know, people love free stuff. And so they'll dive in, you know, when they can.
There's two different points from that too that I want to bring up. Is one, I mean, everyone says, oh, it's the dump token, incentive token reward.
Yeah.
It's got to have some value. Otherwise you're not going to provide LP to get it, because so it's got to have, you know, and maybe that's with like Hart's law where it's bonded to other stuff. So it has some sort of price, but we don't really know the fundamentals. Mm-hmm. And then the other part is, what happens if everyone just starts, providing they don't wreck themselves and permanent loss and just a whole big mess around that? What happens if we just have like insane amounts of LP coming from tons of people? Yeah. Is that good for price? Is that good for the ecosystem? Like what's the case of what happens with all that?
Yeah, I mean, there's two theories of thought, and I think with our community, people definitely lean more towards like low liquidity is good because it can skyrocket price. Like, you know, more liquidity, obviously more stability, but it's also, you know, it's also more liquidity to work through for price to go up. But like, yeah, I mean, one thing I'm researching more and trying to understand is just like the difference between V3 and V2 pools, because with V2 pools, the liquidity is provided across the whole price range. Whereas V3, it can be, what's the word? Like, I'm forgetting the word for it, but they operate a little differently. So I'm not as familiar with like V2 pools, so I'm trying to learn more there. But yeah, I think it's a good thing in that, like, I think enough buy pressure, like, I don't know. I don't think there's like too much liquidity that would hold back like the price of Pulse, for example.
Yeah, the low liquidity. Yeah, there's liquidity on both sides. I'm just thinking if everyone, I don't know. It's going to be very exciting to see which things we think will do really well and which things, or which task and which opportunities we think people take advantage of, and then like nobody does.
Yeah.
And the other way around too. And then, okay, well, since Alan brought it up, instead of taking my RH wallet, whenever that happens, you think it'll be another, are we sacking again? Are we locking up a bunch more HEX, or is it just going to be incentive token, or have you even thought about that?
I have no idea. I don't really think, yeah, I haven't heard Richard Hart say anything, so I won't try to like speculate too much. I don't think there would really be a point for a token for the wallet, but yeah, I mean, if RH does, I'd happily sacrifice for it. Be great.
Smart man. He tends.
I just hope he builds like a MetaMask, like a web wallet, not an app. You know, like I don't do any crypto on my phone, so I'm hoping it's like a Chrome extension like MetaMask, but
he talked about forking. Well, I mean, he said a lot of things. Where's the exchange? Huh? I thought you were an RHMax. Why are you saying criticism? Yeah, I mean, there's that. There's I'm gonna have to fork MetaMask after Infura stuff, right? I think it'll be something like that. Definitely don't think it'll be mobile only. I want to see the HEX wallet that's been finished for years. Where's that? Remember that?
Yeah.
Where's the HEX wallet? The EXE I can run that. That's just for not that we even need to use it or we need it, but like that'd be cool just to see. Maybe in the RH museum he'll have a little computer and you can play with it or something. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
All right, everyone. I can't get to everything. Welcome, Nate Mintz, by the way. Good to see you, man. I mentioned you, I think right before you hopped on about that. I was going over projects with you the other day. He's been making some good content as well. Smash him if you want. Smash if you like. I think excellent stream. I really appreciate you coming on, man. Dip Catcher was in there too. He had a what's up, Crispy? And a lot of people, y'all got to do replay game. We went deep at the beginning. Dip Catchers send his regards as well. Man, what do you
I mean, I could kind of summarize like where we're at right now and just kind of what to expect for people with Pool Party.
Definitely. Let's do it.
Cool. So we mentioned this a little earlier on stream, but right now is the ticker name claim phase, which is a pre-launch phase for Pool Party. So if you plan to launch a pool on Pool Party, you can lock in a ticker name. So you'll be the only one to be able to use that. We've already had over 100 ticker names claimed, but that's completely optional. And also, if you want to, if you think there's a name that has value, there will be a secondary market after launch. So you'll be able to sell those as well.
When you say secondary market, is that going to be like the NFT OpenSea, or are you all planning like a portal? Or
yeah. So that's actually something that's I'm about to tweet out from Maximus, is that the ticker names will be NFT or convertible into NFTs after launch. So Yeah, you won't be if you're claiming names right now, you're not going to get an NFT yet, but at launch you will. So yeah, ticker name claim phase will go until will end before the launch of Pool Party. And you're also able to convert ticker name claim into party airdrop points. So I'll drop the site for a name claim. Let's see. And then yep. So aside from ticker name claim, there will be an airdrop for party, the party token. So if you hold any of the Maximus DAO assets, you will get an airdrop of party, and the total of that will be 10%. The airdrop hasn't happened yet. So if you were to buy Maximus DAO assets right now, you will be included in the airdrop. So it'll be a snapshot from now between now and launch. And then you'll be able to claim that after the mint phase for Pool Party. So yeah, that's pre-launch. During the launch of Pool Party, you'll be able to mint 42,000 and then 69 party per 1 ETH. So that'll be a 1 month mint phase for party. And then at launch, pools will start to be created. Party holders, so if you're holding party liquid, you'll earn a fee from pools that get launched on Pool Party, and that'll be in HEX. So you'll have weekly HEX rewards for growing Pool Party. There will also be a staking feature for party to increase your party holdings. So there'll be a fixed inflation rate of party, and you can stake to earn more there.
Is it too late to, you could, instead of earning more party, you could earn HSIs with that? Is it too late to get that?
That'd be cool. Yeah. No, we gotta do something
now. I want that now.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So let's see. As far as timing goes, we won't release like a launch date until after our audits. Right now we're still in build phase, but we're pretty close. Like contracts are pretty much built, and then we'll move into test phase, kind of a private test phase. Then we'll open it up to a public test phase where anyone can try it. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Rigid Heart launches V3 between now and that time so that we can launch it on V3 for testing. That'd be great. But then after test, awesome. Yeah. After test phase, we'll get our security audits, and then we'll announce a launch date. So yeah, we're making moves.
Making moves, taking names, kicking ass. I mean, Maximus guys have been murdering it for a while now. Red Bull Party available. Oh God, I kind of want to register that now. The Red Bull name. That'd be a good one.
You might have to.
That'd be a good one. Yeah. Well, now that I say it, now I'm gonna have to dox a wallet. Somebody please register that. I want it. Maybe I'll buy it later from you.
Yeah.
Every time I see perps, I think of perpetrators.
Yeah.
So when I see Alan got my perps, I'm like, did someone like break in your house? You got them? Like you like hit them with a bat, or like it's so funny. Perps. See, perpetuals.
Give UFO. You got to snag your name.
Yeah, that's a great one.
That's a great
UFO
name.
pool. Yeah, UFO pool, man. Just so you take 1 ETH to get like 48K of the name claim, and then what's it, like almost 10K to claim each name. So you can claim 5. Sounds like.
So it's 5.
ETH per name.
Yeah. So 0.2 ETH per name. And there's no like minimum or for minting name claim points. So like you don't have to mint a full ETH. You can mint, like, if you just want to claim a name, you could do 0.2 ETH and then claim it with that.
He actually had a question on this too. I didn't even read it. Will it count the diamond-handed perpetuals?
Yes, it will. Yeah.
Red Bull Party only. Now everyone's UFOs or Red Bulls. It's chat. Okay, one more question for you. Get off. I know we've exercised GoldKey's brain today, and he has lots of actual work to do, I imagine. So one more question, and we'll get him out of here. Pepe, you have all the coins Maximus DAO system. Is it 10% more wallet per asset? Surprise, right?
No. So it'll be dependent on the amount of tokens you hold. And there'll be a rate for each of the tokens, which won't be disclosed till after launch. But yeah, you will earn or you'll be eligible for all the tokens that you hold. and it's a total of 10% of the party supply goes to that airdrop.
Yeah, that's my surprise reference, which was nobody knows the ratio yet, but yes.
Yeah.
I hit them with my back of the Dodeca and knocked them right out. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there's a lot of people with large bags of Dodeca, and the Telegram just got deleted one day, and wow. That happened. That was pretty crazy. GoldKey hangs out with more girls than the rest of non-HEX. Unsolicited comment. All right. I like it though. I like it, Dip Catcher.
Honestly, it just comes with t-shirts, guys. The more t-shirts you have, the more girls. It's simple math.
I would argue it comes with being good looking, but t-shirts can't hurt either. There's that. If you got both, all-star package. Another interesting. Yeah, appreciate you, UFO. Yeah, please register that. Not financial advice, but hopefully those names will be worth. I mean, you could use them for your own UFO party, but maybe they'll be worth more than 0.2 ETH one day. GoldKey. Any guarantees you can place on that?
No expectations there, but honestly, good names will be valuable. Like the assets like for Maxi and Desi, like we have great names. I think it's one of the core values of our pool. So these names do have value for sure, but obviously the market will decide that, and you can't have expectations. But
I need a mock. You know how you do like all the logos in one deal. I need like a mock like price list for like which Maxi name is worth the most ETH. Like a mock list, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be real cool.
Yes, everyone. Yes, Compassion says not financial advice. We're just talking words on the internet and trying to get some value out of there. Full circle.
Yeah.
GoldKey, take us out on whatever you want. You explained the whole party deal, but you can talk more about that or what you're excited about. Anything you're passionate about. What do you want to take us out on?
Yeah, guys. Let's see. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Maximus_DAO. That's where I kind of drop all the updates and all of that. If you have any questions, t.me/Maximus DAO for any discussions. But yeah, guys, start getting excited. I think it's going to be, there's people trying to figure out, but I think people will realize how big of a deal pool party is for HEX. We have a goal to burn 100 billion by 2025. So, I definitely think any party starters, aka pool creators, will have a huge part to play in that mission. So yeah, guys, get bullish on HEX and start loading up. So yeah, you'll need ETH if you want to mint party, and then you'll need HEX if you want to participate in the stake pools. So, yep.
Yeah, and these are the guys that let you trade your HEX for Maxi back in the day. So, wasn't a bad play to see. Yeah. Well, from time to time, and it was a crazy premium. Wasn't it like 1.8 one day or 2.2?
You got up to like 2. Yeah, you got over 2 for sure. That was crazy.
Wow. I mean, maybe not too crazy. I guess we'll see in 14 more years.
Yep.
All right, guys. Go follow GoldKey at GoldKey with a 3 on the E and an underscore at the last character, correct?
Yep.
Okay. I had to double check my brain. I've typed in a few times. Luckily, if you got autocomplete on your browser, you don't have to go through that pain. But one day, GoldKey will buy whoever's got twitter.com/GoldKey.
I know.
Hex.com will have Twitter and GoldKey's premium name on there.
Let's go.
Yeah, go Maximus DAO. Again, the love creators in this ecosystem making products that just do amazing stuff, lock you up tons of HEX. And two of the most honest, transparent guys that I've had a pleasure to meet in the ecosystem, in my opinion. So appreciate you guys. Of course. Thank you. Of course. And Miami. Is Miami happening? Remind people, are they going to see Maximus in Miami?
I think so. We're going to try to make the move. We'll try to make it for sure.
Nice. All right. Well, I will try to make it as well, and maybe we'll redo the mosh pit or just the 3 large guys at the stage, whatever you want to call it, and it'll be good times again.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. Scivive and 5555.